Hi, welcome to the Ruckus Feature Explainer series. I'm Terry Henry. Today we're going to look at unleashed zero-touch mesh. So in a previous video we talked about creating a regular mesh, so basically turning on mesh on your root and then connecting your other APs and letting them configure themselves like you would a normal unleashed network, and then you disconnect those APs and move them off to their various positions. So zero touch mesh lets us simply configure mesh on one device and then add the serial numbers of your other APs. And then once those APs connect, then they should automatically mesh together. So this should be pretty easy. So just look at what our topology is. We're going to configure our master, and then we're going to have two members that are going to connect to our master. So these are the master is your root AP, and it's the root because it's wired into your internet router. It's a wired connection. And so just bear in mind, we've talked about this before, but in any mesh from any vendor, you're going to lose a substantial amount of bandwidth per hop, right? So the secret is you don't want to have too many mesh hops. In fact, the old rule is, wire when you can, mesh if you have to, right? So if you have the ability to wire, then wire your APs. However, if you have to mesh, then you do. Just be forewarned, you're going to lose a substantial amount of bandwidth, and every hop away from that root is, worse and worse, right? So um, the second hop away is half the bandwidth, and then you're a third of the bandwidth, etc. Right? So each hop you're getting much less bandwidth. So just keep that in mind. But let's look at how this gets configured. So what I've done so far is I've just gone ahead and configured the master AP, just walk through the wizard like I would with any Unleash setup. So basically, created the SSID and the admin password, and I did turn on meshing already, but there's no other configuration. So it's just a base configuration. So if I log into that AP, I see one access point here. And if I show the mesh topology, there's just going to be one AP. Otherwise, it's a pretty standard configuration. So what I need to do to turn on zero-touch meshing is I need to go into admin and services, and then under system, you're going to see a mesh tab. So if we open that mesh tab, so I have enable mesh turned on. So if you don't have mesh turned on, you can turn it on here. I'm going to leave the ESSID and the passphrase as they are. And then I'm going to turn on this zero touch mesh box here. So that is going to allow me to automatically have those APs join. And then, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pre-approve those via their serial number. So we'll add the serial number of my two APs here. So we'll add this guy, and then we are going to add one more AP. And so the status here says it's waiting to join, and it was not approved. So now we're just going to plug those APs in and let them power up and see if they don't join the mesh automatically. But that should be all we need to do to have them apply. Okay, so I plugged in my other two APs. Not into the same network, into connected across the mesh, right? So they're not physically wired whatsoever. And after several minutes of them configuring themselves, we can see that there is now, if I refresh, that there's 3 working APs. If I expand that out, we can now see the master and 2 mesh APs. Um, and then if we go up here to the topology, if we show mesh topology, we can now see our other two APs. So keep in mind, I didn't do anything to those other two APs other than um, truly just added their serial number into the zero mesh configuration and then plugged them in, and they contacted the controller, the root, and configure themselves, and they're up and running. So without any configuration or even logging into those APs, they're brand new out of the box. Just plugged them in, and then their serial number was already in the controller, so they got auto approved. So that's it, easy as that. Zero touch mesh, nice and easy. But again, if you can wire, do it. But if you have to mesh, it's a great, easy way to make that happen. All right. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Take care.